Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back. It is Sunday Night Live. It's the zoo, and we're coming here live from the battlefield, says Ooman. And thank you, Ooman, for the cool backdrop to use here in the Prepared Mind bunker. Don't forget your coffee, www.cafefe.com. That is the coffee of prepared patriots. Yum, yum. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to go live for about 2 hours tonight or longer. That's up to you guys. What do I mean by that? Sunday Night Live is literally your show, your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, your everything. Predictions, jokes, prognostications, historical references, whatever you got. It's your show. Super chat button is right up there. You hit that button, we'll get you on the screen right down here. Now, there's other ways to do it as well. We've got down in the comments, description section, Venmo, CashApp, PayPal. You can support the channel, and that's what Sunday Night Live is about. It's guerrilla funding through your super chat donations that keeps the channel going, keeps the lights on, keeps me fed, takes care of me, etc., etc. And, well, that's the game, folks. If you're not in the fight, you're not fighting. If you're in the fight, you know it because you're feeling it. You're seeing it. You're understanding it. And I'm going to start with a super chat coming from Darcy T. And any super chat that is $50 or more buys me a scotch, a single malt Glenfiddich 18-year scotch. Now, this is a $50 super chat through PayPal from Darcy T. So, Darcy, thank you very much. We're going to get this show rolling. 3 minutes in, introduction's done, explanation's done. Shit has hit the fan. It's getting nasty. It's getting stupid, and it's getting violent. Stand by for news. And that's how you start off a show. Pow! Darcy T says, this is my commentary on the recent goings-on. It looks like all of the staged events are having the desired effect. They are pitting people against each other. And I am concerned that there will soon be a form of civil war, followed by more erosion or downright removal of our constitutional rights. By the way, did anyone else find it strange that the ICE agent would not allow that doctor to check Renee Good after she had supposedly been shot because he said that they had their own medics coming, which were never seen? That would make sense if there were some shenanigans going on. Just my 2 cents. Salut. Now, I watched more footage, Darcy, and I, too, am wondering what the hell is happening. Now, I watched the woman gets shot by the cop. She keeps going and crashes into a tree. Her lesbian wife walks across the street. And instead of going to her wife in the car, SUV that's been damaged, she's standing in the sidewalk saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You would think that if that's your wife, you would go do something about that. Now, with respect to paramedics and a doctor being told no, I mean, is the doctor going to carry around a certificate that says, I'm a doctor, right? How can the police allow that? But then they said, hey, we've got our own paramedics and first responders, yet I watched this video of the wife standing there screaming her wife has been shot, the lesbian one and the lesbian shot two. And I don't see anyone at all messing with the SUV. Where is everyone? It's just bizarre. It has the feeling of a false flag staged bullshit event designed specifically, as you described, to pit people against each other. So one way or the other, it's successful. What's in question is the reality of the scenario, the situation, the events that played out. And I was commenting earlier on not only this accident, but everything going on. The Democrats on the street, whether they're paid or not, cannot express an intelligent thought. Reality, there's no fucking reality for them. They're living in make-believe fairyland. They're willingly, knowingly, intentionally doing things that are impoverishing their city, county, state, the whole country, removing people's safety by inviting in these criminals, these violent thugs, murderers, rapists, kidnappers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's unfucking believable. They're doing it to themselves intentionally. I say they hate America, but they're destroying themselves. It's a suicidal act of empathy for people that have nothing to do with us in common. These are foreign fucks, whether they're Trends de Uruguay or MS-13 or Palestinians or Pakistanis, or it doesn't matter. They have nothing to do with America. They have nothing to do with our morality, our belief systems. They're not an asset. They're a complete risk and cost factor that we can't afford, period. So, now that I got that out, your other comment, there's going to be a form of civil war soon. I cannot help but agree with that. That's how hard they're pushing. They're pushing to divide. They're pushing to aggravate. And I think I told Uman and some others, in Minnesota right now, it's frozen. The ground is frozen. It's cold as fuck. People don't want to go out and protest in that. It's too cold. So they've started early. Oh, indeed they have. They want to be going full steam, is what I think, by springtime. They need to create and generate more violence. So we have one white lesbian liberal woman dead. We're going to need some Hispanics killed. We're going to need some black people killed. Hey, why not some Native Americans, maybe a couple Asians? We're going to need some transgenders killed, men, women. We're going to need to really start killing people to sell this need for another St. George Floyd Summer of Love. I really think it's coming. Now, with respect to your comment about having our rights eroded or downright removed, government likes to believe that in an emergency, in a specific area, they can call for martial law, they can call for curfews, they can suspend rights, they can suspend just some of them or all of them. They have emergency powers. Now, with respect to me and my life and my rights and my property, let's just say down here in Florida, let's just say I was stupid enough to live in Orlando. And something bad happened, and the police say, curfew, we're going to go door to door looking for the bad guys, and we're going to come in your house, whether you like it or not. No. Well, listen here, Mr. John. We have suspended the Constitution. There's martial law. There's criminals about. You're not going to let us in? Really? You're going to put up a fight with us? Yes. Yes, exactly. I am not encouraging anyone to do what I would do or what I say I would do. What I'm encouraging people to do is think. Think for yourself. Think, what will you do? Right? Just because someone else has committed a crime doesn't mean I surrender my rights to life, liberty, property, etc. But that's how government likes to operate. They want to create a situation so big, so disastrous, so ugly that people scream for the government to take their rights from them and fix the problem, right? It is typical Hegelian dialect, and they've used it again and again and again and again and again throughout all history. Hegelian dialect is create or allow a problem. Wait for the masses to panic. Wait for the masses to demand government do something. Government offers a solution which gives the government more power The government goes in and fixes the problem. And here we are. The government now has new powers, new authority, and we have less and less and less of our civil, human, constitutional, and God-given rights. Yes. I'm going to touch on the Civil War violence topic some more as we go. Before we do that, we have someone else who's checked in. It would be Chin Music with a big old super chat of 52.23. Starting the show off right out the gate. Chin Music, 18-year Scotch. Ooh, these are having a nice effect with the spiked coffee. It's always nice to have the Kraken in a cup and the Scotch at hand. Chin Music, thank you, brother, for taking good care of us here at the show, making sure the lights are on, the servers are up, we have good internet connectivity out of the bunker, and we're sending out the message. Thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, share the internet address, please. I'm talking to you guys, the viewers. Chin? Like mother's milk. Woo! All right, yes. Share the internet address. Email it. Text it. Fucking carrier pigeon. Smoke signals. Get people the address they need to wake up. So Chin Music, he's calling back to our failed government. He says, what a week, man. Dan Bongina and his credibility are crashing faster than a lead-poisoned lesbian poet at an ice raid. He, meaning Dan Bongina, is declaring war on black pillars. And for what? Doing exactly what he used to ask his listeners to do every day. Ask questions. Believe no one without receipts. And never accept being lied to. I used to like this guy. That's where I got my Liberals Suck t-shirt. In fact, I've seen the Liberals Suck t-shirt on Chin Music. I've seen him wearing it in public. It's funny. And no liberal dareth say a word to him. So Chin Music says, should have seen this coming. 2 things we learned from the Minneapolis fiasco. Number 1, Minnesota is a commie hellhole run by beta men. I don't even want to call them men. Jacob Frey and Tampon Tim Walz. Let's continue if we shall. 2, lesbian poets don't drive so well after they've been shot. If Walz isn't arrested and jailed, none of us should ever pay taxes again. What I've got to tell you guys is this whole idea, this concept of being and paying taxes is reaching a crescendo amongst, well, taxpayers. Why should we pay with all of this fraud? I'm starting at the back and heading back to the front of the question here. Great comment, right? The government came out this weekend on certain news channels. They came out and said, hey, look, at least $500 billion goes directly into fraud and waste, theft and money laundering. That's the United States. That doesn't count states like Minnesota or California or Illinois or New York and what they spend on this trash. Same with states like Florida and Texas, sending money to an ally of ours. Why are states sending money to a foreign government? I think that ought to be fucking illegal and be put an end to real fast. Anyways, here we are. Yeah, this whole concept of paying taxes. If the government can overspend and the next year they just finance more, what are they going to do? It's coming to a point where the system is about to break. It truly is about to break. With respect to lesbian poets, I see that Chin Music has really zeroed in on that. And this lesbian poet and her wife thing had Missouri plates on their vehicle, their SUV, and they're in Minnesota. They've been at other protests, and they have high-profile visibility. They've been spotted at other places because of their very aggressive nature. I'm guessing they are paid protest lesbian poets, and that's how they make a living. So the louder they are, the more trouble they cause, the more camera time they get paid more. I'm sure that's why the wife said, just go, get out of there, go fast, right? Whoops. But the whole thing does stink. Stinks to high heaven like a fucking false flag. It stinks. You know, and it just reminds me of an old saying that we have different levels of government, and we have a lie being told at every level that's different than the level below it. Right? The lie is different at every level. The lie is different. Right? Period. They can't get their story straight. Crazy stuff. If we can, let's go back to number 1 with Chin Music if it's available, and I'll dissect that a little more if we got it on the board. A lot to think about. My head is just swimming with crazy shit that's going on. What do you say, Mr. Uman? Where do we go? Poets, lesbian poets. She was a poet and didn't know it. Whether or not it's a real shooting, whether or not it's a real death, to me it feels like a false flag. To me it feels like they were instructed, the lesbian poets, to go there and cause a bunch of trouble, everyone film it. Maybe they didn't expect to have a shooting. Maybe they thought it was just going to be a show. Well, we've got trouble, folks. Lots of it. Okay, Uman, looks like we're stuck there on number 2. Okay, we'll just pull it down. We'll pull it down if we've got it. Folks, there's a super chat button right up there. If you've got something you want to say, hit that button. Uman will get you on the screen, and we'll move on. If Chin Music wants to toss more stuff out there through the comment section, just throw it up on the board, Mr. Uman. For now, let's clear the board, because I've got something I think is pretty important, and it's tied directly to that. The Philadelphia Police Commissioner issues a devastating response to the woke sheriff who threatened to arrest ICE agents and warn them, "You don't want this smoke." Now, you don't want this smoke. That is not English. That is ghetto. Now, I appreciate a good bitch slap, a good, rogering and making fun of somebody. But when you're in this kind of position of authority, don't you think you need to speak clear and concise English everyone else can understand? You don't want this smoke? I'd be like, no, that's right. I don't smoke cigarettes. No. But basically, they're saying you don't want this fire or this fight. A woke sheriff has threatened to arrest ICE agents. Can you smell, speaking of smoke, can you smell the riots? Can you smell the fires? Can you smell all of it as civil and partisan violence gets closer and closer? Similar to what Darcy T is saying. She's saying, hey, it's going to be civil war. I call it partisan conflict as well. Chin Music is like, these people are just out of control. They're out of their fucking rockers, right? But here's my thing. As it gets closer and closer, what can we compare this to? Well, unlike the Civil War of 1860, in this conflict, with this violence, no one, I don't think, is going to show a whole lot of sympathy for the losers, because the victors are not going to call them just rebels. They're beyond rebels, these people. They're non-American. They're un-American. They're calling for the death of America, the death of law and order, the death of civility, the death of morality. They're beyond traitors. They're beyond all of that. And they're just flat out fucking evil and satanic traitors at that. It's not getting better. It's getting far worse. Right? There's, like, when someone gets killed, people, the whole Charlie Kirk thing where they point to their neck, which apparently this dead lesbian poet did, thinking that's cute, right? They wish for the death and celebrate it. I'm not celebrating the death of this idiotic woman. It's a fucking tragedy if it even happened, right? If it's a conspiracy and it's a false flag, it didn't happen. but we're being led and told to believe. I'm not celebrating that. I'm not happy about this shit, but it is pushing people closer and closer to violence. And the love loss here. Every time a Republican is hurt, an ICE is hurt, a cop is hurt, Democrats celebrate. To them, it's a joyous occasion. For me, I'm just like, well, we're getting closer. And so I got the old trusty firearms right here. But this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Look at it as snapshot in time. Snapshot in time. It's going to get nasty. Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have a plan? Do you understand where you're at and the 10 miles around you? Once again, if I were closer to Orlando, I would worry about it. Where I'm at in relation to Orlando, I'm not worried about it. But if they were to have a huge conflict, right, and they were like, everyone's locked down, I'm going to be like, you don't get to do that. That's not how this works. Right? It's like going into a war zone, literally, and telling everyone, you're not allowed to shoot. Everyone, just go back to sleep while everyone else around you is fighting. But I'm not allowed to protect myself, my neighbors, my family, everyone. It's ridiculous. It's going to get ugly if it gets that bad. They're pushing it because war is one of the most effective ways to convince people to agree to something that normally they would not. Whether it has to do with money and the economy, or the way they treat other humans, the way they look at government, the way they look at foreign governments. Everything changes when there's a war because people are dying and they love it. They think it's fucking cute. All right, let's do this. Let's flip back over to you guys. It's your show on the Prepared Mind channel. It is Sunday Night Live. It is the Zoo. Super chat button right up there. Pow, gets you on the screen down here, Mr. Uman. What are we going to talk about next? And it is Big Dan the Man with a $5 super chat. And he says, that woman in Minnesota blocking the ICE agents. What was she thinking? I hope that poor dog in the back seat was not injured. It's my understanding that the dog, the black lab, is just fine. With regard to the woman, politicians on the political right are saying, how dare you, you leftist politicians, for lying, manufacturing shit, using the media, stirring up hatred, stirring up more violence, calling for violence, because that's what they're doing. They have lied repeatedly and said, oh, the poor lady was scared. She was just scared. You look at her. She's not scared. She's talking shit. She's looking out the front of the windshield at the cop smiling. Right? He goes around the side. She's not scared. She's talking trash. It's bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit. But they're playing this, aren't they? They are pushing it, aren't they? Because they want the violence to start. Now, down in Texas, I believe it's down in Dallas, they're trying a bunch of protester shit, and they started getting a little out of hand, and I guess the police went in. I guess that would, if it's Dallas PD, and they put an end to that shit right away. But up in Minnesota, no. I think over the weekend, the Utes decided to go out and start breaking windows, looting stores, because, you know, they're really upset that a lesbian poet who looks like Satan's wife, got shot. They really care. Yeah, I'm sure. The white, liberal, lesbian woman. But if you look at it and think about the weapons, see, I think it's important to look at the weapons that the left has. You could call them their reserve troops if you want. They have Antifa, communist youths with communist professors as leaders, funded by communist millionaires and billionaires in this country. Antifa. You've got BLM, which was a pro-black transgender organization masquerading as a civil rights organization, very willing to be violent. You have the Palestinian pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian movement, who they want to be violent. They want to be terrorists. They were really going after the Jews. And so the Israelis didn't like that. And they've kind of tempered their shit down, haven't they? Who else is on the left? Well, yes, the lesbian, gay, bi, pedophiles. They're there. All of these groups are in America. You have Trends de Uruguay. You have MS-13. You have a lot of gangsters and criminals from south of the border. And I love that the Trump administration has elected to open up asylum from Venezuela now that they've kidnapped Maduro, captured Maduro, arrested Maduro, are putting Maduro on trial up here. I don't want any of these fucking people in our country. You know, I don't want anyone of any color from any country unless you're from a country that is a moral, decent country and you've got money. You don't get to come here poor. You have to come here with some fucking money so you can take care of yourself, and a skill so you can get a job and pay taxes right out the fucking gate. You want in the country? $100,000. And you have 6 months to get a job, secure your own housing, and take care of yourself and not be a fucking problem. That would be good, wouldn't it? Instead of this brown group and that brown group and this group over here and that group over there, and none of them have anything to offer but a fucking nightmare and a headache. And yeah, that's what they want. That's why New York City now has a mayor named Zoran Mamdani. Unfucking believable, unconscionable, unimaginable until the Democrats have got to this point. And they're bringing all of these people in as their new voting base. After they told my generation, the millennials, the Gen Z that's now in their 20s, don't have kids. There's too many people here. But we're also told that, you know, whites are the problem. On a percentage basis, the whites are the least problem when it comes to serious crimes. But we have a new class of foreign criminals, right? They're now white-collar criminals committing massive amounts of fraud. Anyways, let us move on. We're 30 minutes into the show. We're going to go 2 hours. It's your show. Super chat buttons up there. That's how you get on the screen. You get to direct. You get to steer the topics in the directions that you think are most important. Let's do it, Mr. Uman. Dan Bongina, what a fucking jerk off. That guy really is. Nancy Kague is in the house with a $20 super chat donation. And she says, your topic of choice tonight, Semper Fi. And Semper Fi means always faithful. I think it takes on a new meaning for all of us Americans because you think about it. Faithful, always faithful to what? We'll do that, Mr. Uman. We'll go with one of hers. Right? Faithful to our country, our flag, our laws, our Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, our faith, our traditions, our culture. That's what we need to be faithful to, and faithful to ourselves, who we are. There are Black Americans, brown Americans, white Americans, yellow Americans, red Americans. We all, the Americans, love our country. It is the un-Americans, non-Americans, anti-American losers of all colors, including white, from the white liberal, once Americans. They're not Americans anymore, right? They're suicidal. They're psychotic. They're fucking brain injured. Let's do it. What does Nancy have to say, Mr. Uman, if you think she's got a comment we want to go with? Oh, no. We're going to do this. Alan Meyer Jensen checks in and says, Alexander Dugin, Tragisk, but now Russia have to use mass destruction weapons on the USA because of the way Trump acted. I think that's tragic. Alexander Dugin. No, Alan, shit. Sometimes the translation coming from Denmark to America doesn't work really well. But I'm going to roll with what I can interpret here. But before I do that, we've got over 300 people live right now. Share the internet address. You cannot comment unless you are a subscriber for 5 minutes. Be sure, all of you, every last one of you guys, thumbs up the video. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you don't want to. Fucking do it anyways. It messes with YouTube. It screws with their AI. Do it. And now, back to Alan Meyer Jensen. Russia has to use mass destructive weapons on the USA because of the way Trump acted. Number one, what is a weapon of mass destruction? It's anything that causes massive loss of property or loss of life, like a biological weapon or a chemical weapon is considered a weapon of mass destruction. A hand grenade is not. But how about just warfare, drone warfare? If you take into account all the casualties caused by that, is that mass destruction? Well, it is. It's just caused by little bits and pieces. Now, same with bullets. If you want to just call bullets mass destruction. All war is mass fucking destruction, in other words. It is. You could say that the damage caused in eastern former Ukraine, now Russian satellite states or Russian Federation states, those people and their cities in what was formerly eastern Ukraine, they're now destroyed. They're now just obliterated, mass destruction. But to say that, you need to have mass destruction, a weapon where a single bomb or a single missile, a single deployed weapon causes mass destruction. And typically we think of nuclear weapons at this level, right? That's a weapon where one can cause mass destruction. But in this case, how about the Orezhnik missile, hypersonic missile at that was deployed by Russia that took out the power in Ukraine, one of their major cities, blacked it out. Is that a weapon of mass destruction? Well, it is. Isn't it also where the weapon hits? But what has happened is Trump has supported Ukraine, provided them with weapons, money, our weapons, our money. And they were able to use those weapons, English as well as, meaning British as well as American, and fired those into Russia, killing civilians, killing and taking out civilian targets, taking out also, energy infrastructure, oil refineries. They've caused massive oil spills, from what I could get out of the news. Those are pretty fucking destructive. So, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, weapon of mass destruction for weapon of mass destruction. Interestingly, Russia has appeared to use like for like types of weapons. Can he or should he go nuclear? I sure hope that he doesn't. Does he have the right to? Well, of course he has the right to. He has the authority to. That doesn't make it right, though. But he has the authority. He has the power. As the leader of the country, he controls it. He can do whatever he wants. And he hasn't used any nukes yet. But can he? Could he? Should he? And what if he does? What if he does? Unbelievable stuff going on. Thank you, Alan Meyer Jensen. I know over in Europe, there's a lot of concern. I would hate to be in a major city in any European city, especially Paris, London, Brussels. I would hate to be in, Berlin or Warsaw, because you are now potentially a primary target. They could be pinpointed and taken out, and you're taken out with it, being by a primary political target. What I find fascinating is that Putin has told them, hey, rich people, I don't know where you think you are. I don't know if you think you're going to hide, but we know where your hiding places are. And we can take you guys out. You will not be safe. And just remember, folks, there are now nuclear torpedoes that the Russian submarine fleet has. that they can deploy, ignite off coast, and cause massive tsunamis. Massive tsunamis. They could hit one and send massive waves up into Maryland and Washington, D.C., and completely swamp the swamp. I'm waiting for them to set one off in the middle of the Atlantic and send waves in every direction as an example of the destructive capabilities that they have. It could happen. I'm not cheering for it. I'm not rooting for it. I don't think it's a great fucking idea. I'm saying he could. And say, this is your final fucking warning. Right? You tried to kill me, you motherfuckers. This is how close we are to World War III, folks. Currently, World War III is economic. It is monetary. It is resource-based, meaning metals and minerals and mines. It is cultural. It is religious. And Putin has called all of these things out. And he has heavily criticized the West, meaning Europe, England, the United States of America, Canada, all included, as well as Australia, but primarily the United States, England, and Europe. And he's called them out for being pedophiles. The Western elites are pedophiles. They're sexual predators that prey on children. And they're Satanists. And I can't disagree with them. So we'll go all the way and circle back to Dan Bongina. All the way back to Chin's first comments on this. We all know it. I don't know if you specifically, every one of you, because I don't know everyone who's on here, but we all know that Jeffrey Epstein was a fucking convicted pedophile who had an island down in the Caribbean where he kept children because they went down there and they claimed they found all kinds of films, videos, pictures, correspondence, computer disks, everything. And we know that powerful elites flew down there, took their yachts down there, and engaged in these activities. These evil, fucked up activities. Trump knows it. He's protecting him. Dan Bongina was complaining about the Epstein clients and all this evil and the fucking pedophilia and everything. And he's like, oh, I'm going to kick some ass. And he becomes the deputy director of the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. And he does what? Absolutely nothing while lying to us. He is now out. He's resigned after a year of doing nothing. And he thinks he's going to come back into social media and tell everyone how stupid they are and to knock it off. And he's going to kick an ass. And he's a giant hypocrite who has taken, according to experts, $6 million. That's right. He's the $6 million man from AIPAC, the America-Israeli, what I call the Political Action Committee. You know, that's what they are. They're a political influence group, AIPAC. And they use their money to influence politicians, buy them, in other words. Buy them. And so that's what they do. They buy people. So you've got Israel buying people. You've got Israel buying our government, inviting in violent Muslim thugs, influencing our government through bribes to allow drug gangs in, drug cartels, kidnapping cartels, murder cartels. The Somalis are fraud cartels with their bullshit childcare, their bullshit healthcare, where they claim that they've got a business and the government sends them millions of dollars a year. And Dan Bongino did what? Nothing. Right. They did nothing. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Are you prepared? Before we get to the next question, man, do you have food? Adequate food for 3, 6, or 12 months? What if things were to go bad in your area? Do you think your area would recover quickly? Or do you think your area could be a hotbed of stupid where you wouldn't be able to get food for a while? If you get trouble in your area, are you going to help your neighbors out? Are you going to give food away? All of a sudden, your 3-month food supply will become 1 week. So maybe you need more. Are your neighbors good neighbors or bad neighbors? Know your area, right? So food, water, You'll die of dehydration, lack of water before you die of starvation. Shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You have to have that set up for what is coming. Whether you get it at thepreparedmind.club, CLUB, our website, or anywhere else, I don't give a shit. Just get prepared. That is what is most important, is you get prepared and understand your area and how much you need. Let's do this. Mr. Uman, who is up next on the Prepared Mind channel? Super chat button right up there, and down here is an example of what happens. Viking Boomer is back with a $20 super chat. And he says, you have the paid agitators and the useful idiots. Why can't they follow the money and put them in jail for high treason? The same reason, and you're absolutely right, Viking, the same exact reason they can't, for some reason, figure out who the pedophiles are. Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Well, they know who they are. They know what they've done. They know how much money they pay. They know what filthy acts of violence and disgusting sexual depravity and murder they've done. They're not going to arrest them. So why should they arrest paid agitators? Why should they arrest the payors and the payees, right? The George Soros and Alex Soroses that take money from you, the American taxpayer, that goes to the government to pay taxes, that gets donated from the government over to non-government organizations through the bureaucracies like USAID, that then gives the money to George Soros to send back to America to pay these paid agitators. We're funding our own fucking death. We're funding our own destruction. We're funding our government's absolute neutering with our own money. And our government is in on it. They're in cahoots. They're co-conspirators. They're committing high treason themselves. Our government in Washington, D.C. is committing high treason on a daily fucking basis. So how can we expect them to go after the bad guys? It's like expecting bad guys, criminals, to stop other criminals. Well, as long as the United States government is the criminal organization that is getting the most benefit, the most control, the most power, they're not going to argue with these other things. They're just doing things like the pro-Palestinian idiots causing trouble. That gives Washington, D.C. more power. If Israelis, Mossad, Israel, AIPAC wants to provide money to political candidates to get in there and cause trouble and commit fraud and okay fraud, they know it. They know where this money came from. They know who they are. They can follow the bank accounts. All transactions are electronic and can be traced back to where each stop the money made and came from. They're not going to do it because they're all co-conspirators at this point. They're co-conspirators. As far as I'm concerned, it's not even questionable anymore. In fact, I'm going to go to this one by me, Viking. Congress is both bought and paid for. That's not my quote. That is Tim Burchett, who is a Republican representative in Congress. He's that pissed off. He came out and said, Congress is bought and paid for because 17 piece of shit Republicans joined the Democrats, and they're going to give billions of dollars to big insurance companies through Obamacare. Congress is bought and paid for. These insurance companies donate a bunch of money to these Republicans. They turn around and vote to make the insurance companies more money, to give them more power, more control. See how easy this is? See how easy this is? Republicans, they can change sides whenever they need to earn those campaign contributions. Whether it's for big pharmacy, big oil, big Israel, big military contractors, big Ukraine, which Ukraine was child sex trafficking, human trafficking. Oh, yeah, we learned, did we not? Biological weapons research labs, 29 of those motherfuckers. They were also participating in what over in Ukraine? Money laundering, political money laundering, and God knows what else. Drugs, murder for hire, Ukraine is the filthiest fucking country. Oh, very close allies with Israel. Yeah. Yeah, that's how that works. Listen, it's always the same. It's always the fucking same. The people we send to Washington, D.C. vote to give away our lives and our wealth to enrich themselves. They're all paid top to bottom. We, you and I, on the streets, see the lowest of lows, useful idiots who are useless in any other capacity, and paid agitators that are going to confront us, commit acts of violence, tie up traffic, close stores, burn down sections of cities. Fuck with us. You go up to the next level. Local politicians, if they're Democrats, they're all for it because it destroys the cities. It gets them more of what they want. They're happy with it. Go to the state level. Look at these governors saying, like Newsom and Tim Walz, they're encouraging violence against ICE. And ICE, for its part, is not arresting everybody. They're letting people push them and fight with them and impede them and get in the way. At some point, you either you fix the problem or you just stop doing it. You can't win a war by sending 10 people to fight 10,000. The way you win a war is by knowing what the enemy's got and going in and absolutely fucking crushing them, defeating them, penalizing them so bad they wish they had never been born or at least not done what they've done. We aren't arresting all the people that need to be arrested. That's a show. It's a show. We're not getting mass deportations. We need to get rid of 20 million illegal immigrants minimum out of the 50 million that are here. Just to get back to where our housing isn't taxed, our social services aren't taxed. Don't you agree? You can or you can't. Put it in the comments. Let other people see and read what you're thinking. That's what the comment section is for, besides getting super chats up onto the board. These are paid agitators, but all the way at the top. Congress. And I love that Tim Burchett is basically joined Thomas Massey. Oh, by the way, Big Marge, she's gone. No longer in Congress. She's still active on X, active in social media. But she no longer has the protection that a Congress person has. There's not many of these people willing to stand up and point out where the evil is, who is doing it. It's not just the people on the street. It's not just the people that are handing the money. It's not just the college professors. It's not just the lifetime career idiot agitators on the street. It is city level police departments. It is state level law enforcement and prosecution, attorney generals. It goes all the way up to the national level. National. The national level where they don't do anything. In fact, let me just do this. Treasonous Republican Senate action. Thank you, Viking. We can pull him down off the board there. I appreciate the great super chat, by the way. And we'll get to one of your super chats here in a minute. The button's right up there if you want to get on the screen. But I want to piggyback on this with another story about treasonous Republicans who are supposed to be on our side, who are supposed to be pro-America, pro-Constitution, pro-law and order. Guess what they've done? The Senate Appropriations Committee has voted overwhelmingly to provide over $5 billion of your money, taxpayer cash, to put into welfare for refugees. Are you fucking kidding me? During Trump's first term, he wanted $5 billion to build the wall between America and Mexico to secure the border and help keep us safe. Who stopped him? The Senate. Who was the bitch in charge? Oh, yeah, Dianne Feinstein. Yeah, guess her religion. Dianne Feinstein wanted no. Followed by Turtles McConnell, sellout Republican sack of shit in the Senate. They stopped it. We don't have $5 billion. Oh, my God. All they've done is give away billion after billion after billion after billion since 2020. The COVID fuck up, hundreds of billions of dollars. Ukraine war, hundreds of billions of dollars. Illegals, billions and billions and billions. Healthcare, housing, food, cash, phones, transportation, property. Billions. Oh, we had some destruction from a hurricane. Fuck you, Americans. Had a fire on the California West Coast. Not only did the government not put out the fires, they're completely incompetent and no reconstruction. There are big protests today, by the way, in Palisades fire area. Hawaii, one of the most iconic, beautiful little towns. Touristy, fun. Lahaina. Maui. Burned. The fucking entire city burned. Whoops, no money for you. But the Senate, the Republicans want to give $5 billion and more back into refugees while they're telling veterans, fuck you. Veterans, no medicine. Veterans, no retirement. Veterans, no benefits. Fuck you, veterans. Oh, you're disabled because you jumped out of helicopters for 20 fucking years? Or you jumped out of a helicopter for 2 years. It doesn't matter. If your back is shot, it's pretty easy to see where that went. Helicopters, airplanes. They take a 150-pound guy, put a 50-pound pack on him, march him 20 fucking miles. What do you think his knees are going to do? Literally, what do you think his knees are going to fucking do? Now, I have to admit, most combat jarheads are a little bigger than 50 pounds, right? When I was a jarhead, shit, I was only 180 pounds at 6'3". Now I'm quite a bit heavier, 270, 6'6". Be that as it may, they're not little people, but they are strong and they're well trained, but they get beat down. So fuck you guys. No money for you. Soldiers, Marines, sailors, you're fucking deaf, you're blind, you can't see. Fuck you. We're going to give your money to welfare refugees. It's just, it's shocking and disgusting. It really is. It's treasonous as far as I'm concerned. You're taking the treasure of Americans from their hard fucking work and you're sending it to Israel, sending it to Ukraine, sending it to Africa, sending it to South America, and then inviting their fucked up people to come here and suck more off of us. It can't continue. It can't exist. They've destroyed our money. They've destroyed our economy. They've destroyed our financial system. And it's just going to get worse. Mr. Uman, I shot you a big Q mark. What do we want to do? I've got something that I'm trying to hold off on giving. I want to give everyone a chance to do a super chat donation and get your question and thoughts in here because it's going to matter. Big Dan the Man, $5 super chat donation. He says, my M4, which fires a 5.56, right? M4 is basically it's an M16. Civilian version is semi-automatic. But Dan says, my M4 is 1 minute of angle at 50-yard red dot sight. Well lubed and right on target, always at the range. A great rifle to fire, low recoil, and very accurate. We're going to have a discussion about the M16, AKA, also known as, not AK, but the M16, also known as the M4 or the AR-15 or the AR-4, whatever you want to call it. It is an incredible weapon. It's more complicated than a bolt-action rifle, but it's not that much more complicated. They are incredibly accurate. They are incredibly light. They are incredibly versatile. From the length of the barrel, the heaviness of the barrel, the number of rounds of ammunition in your magazine. You can do 5 round, 10 round, 20 round, 30 round, 100 round drums. They just get heavier is all. The buttstock is collapsible, meaning it can come in tight or go out long, depending on your size and your preference. It can be fired by grown men, grown women. People with disabilities can fire them because they have very low recoil. They're designed intentionally to have low recoil so that you aren't doing this every time. You shoot, it comes a little, but you're back on target very quickly. Children can shoot them, always with adult supervision. I have seen pink AR-15s, M4s. I have seen Hello Kitty M4s, which crack me up. You know, you can do whatever you want with them. You can paint them, customize them. They're beautiful weapons. They're extremely accurate, very inexpensive now. And there are, I'm sure there's got to be at least 100 million of them in the United States of America. Take the time if you've got it. Take the money if you can. Arm yourself, because if things get bad, you will need it. And even if you don't need it, you will sleep better knowing you have it right there. In fact, I just touched mine. Woo! And there's probably, I don't know, I'm going to call it 2 combat loads of ammunition already in magazines, even closer. Yep, right there. Have it ready. Have it clean. Have it lubed or dry, if you will, depending on which system you have. But learn to defend yourselves. Prepare yourself to defend yourself. If you're not shooting at targets, you're not shooting, you're not getting the training. If you're not understanding who the problems are in our system, you're going to hesitate. You do not want to hesitate if you've got a problem. We're going to talk more about that as well. Before we get there, though, Mr. Erickson, thank you for the great donation. Thank you for your continuing support. People that are on here that we've seen today are constantly supporting this channel and the efforts and the message, and I want to thank all of you. Every week, every month, we get new people as well, both coming to the channel. Our subscription numbers are going up because you guys are sharing the internet address, and it is much appreciated. Share the internet address. The system's not getting better, folks. It's getting worse. Government's not getting better. It's getting worse. The foreigners, the illegals are here. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. They're getting better at hiding, worse for our safety. They're getting better at lying, worse for our safety. Government at the local level, the state level, the federal level, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. Our economy is not getting better. It's getting worse. Law enforcement is very upset and confused throughout much of the country because they don't know. The police are told, no, you're not going to go arrest those people. You're not going to arrest the illegals. You're not going to arrest the protesters. Even if they're violent, they're not going to get arrested. And if they do arrest them, the fucking district attorney just lets them go. Judges let them out. We have rapists and murderers being released while people who try and defend themselves go to prison. We are not far behind jolly old England. And I really hope that Steve Conlon hasn't been locked up. I hope that Bob Hunter hasn't been locked up. I hope that Vincent Boyle hasn't been locked up. I hope that Renee hasn't been locked up. Jiminy crickets. These people in our country are destroying it. This fake scene behind me, and thank you, Uman, for creating that for me. I've got it up on a green screen behind me. That's what Nevada is going to look like. That's what Southern California is going to look like. That's what Texas is going to look like. That's what Utah, Colorado is going to look like. Lots of this country is going to look just like that. It looks just like Somalia. It looks just like Syria. It looks just like Gaza. It looks just like, every shithole in the country, on the planet. Okay, and the reason it's not getting fixed? Because we have some problems. Get your super chat in right up here. Or we've got, PayPal, Venmo, CashApp. In fact, I do have from Chelsea P a Venmo donation of $50. Thank you, Chelsea and husband, because I know who that is. I really appreciate that. Uman, keep an eye out for Chelsea in the comment section. Did a $50 super chat. That buys me a delicious single malt 18-year Glenfiddich Scotch. I love it, love it, love it. Got to keep the brains limber and well exercised. Thank you, Chelsea and husband. Yes, indeed. All right, Chelsea P., thank you so much. Uman will grab your question here. But I am going to read to you in the time being while we're waiting for Chelsea. Our Secretary of the Treasury. Does he have anything to do with law enforcement, foreign policy, energy? Why is this character, and I'm going to give you his name, Scott Bessent, why is he the only one who sounds like a fucking American in the government? Or is it that everyone else in the government in Washington, D.C. has completely ruined their own credibility? Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is pissed off and says Tim Walz, quote, won't be able to hide from this fraud investigation, end quote. The Treasury Secretary should be worried about American treasure, our wealth. Shouldn't he be working with the Federal Reserve or replacing the Federal Reserve? So we quit getting screwed by the Federal Reserve? Shouldn't he be auditing the Federal Reserve, auditing the gold supply? Come on, Scott, get back in your lane, dude. But he's right, right? Why, rather than question Scott Bessent over him going after fraud from Tim Walz, which is a law enforcement question, why not ask someone else? We should be asking, why is the Secretary of the Treasury talking about law enforcement rather than the FBI arresting Tim Walz and the Attorney General, Bimbo Bondi, announcing Tim Walz's prosecution? Folks, the Attorney General, the FBI are absolutely useless, and they have zero credibility as we head into this corrupt as hell election. It is. It's corrupt as hell. This election is coming. Thank you, Uman. Right? The election process is coming, and it's corrupt as hell. It is going to be campaign season, and it is corrupt as hell. And the FBI and the Attorney General are doing fucking nothing. So we've got Scott Bessent out there making threats. Republicans have done 1% of what was needed to protect our upcoming election integrity. And if they've had 1 year and have done jack shit to protect and secure the 2026 elections, what makes you think they're going to get a fucking thing done by the time we get to the 2028 elections? Nothing is being done. It's musical fucking chairs. It is Clown City. And this is the Republicans who are supposed to be the real patriot Americans. And they're not. They're not doing a fucking thing. Cross-eyed Kash Patel has got his nose so far up his Israeli girlfriend's ass, he can't see straight. Oh, wait. He couldn't see straight already. His eyes were crooked. And Pam Bondi, she is still auditioning for a job on Fox News. Pam, you are used. You are tired. You are old. Nobody likes you. Nobody believes you. We're all fucking sick of you. We were after 2 weeks of your lives. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking sellout. All of them are sellouts, folks. Washington, D.C. is not your friend. If they are, share with us why. What did Washington, D.C. do for you? Unless you're getting free money from them and you're committing a crime and getting away with it, unless you're one of those people, all they've done is take your money and lie to you. Unfucking believable. Okay, Mr. Uman, let's do it. Let's get to Chelsea's comments, questions, thoughts. And Chelsea and husband says, we wanted to know what John's thoughts are on World War III. We are hearing a lot about it. The same thing applies for World War III, Chelsea, as applies to SHTF, light, medium, Mad Max, off the fucking hook. Get prepared. First thought, prepare. You can't fight a war unless you're prepared. You can't survive SHTF, Mad Max, or World War III unless you're prepared ahead of time. There is no timeout. You've got to be prepared. You can't say, hold off on the bombs and the missiles. I've got to go down to Big Five Sporting Goods and pick up some stuff. Got to head on down to the Piggly Wiggly and pick up some food, if you know what I mean. My thoughts on World War III, it's already started. It is a resource war. It is an energy war. It is a currency war. It is an economic and financial war, meaning banks, currency, money, means of production, resale, tale of value, The currency has to be, all of these things. Plus, it's a religious war. Right now, the United States is under attack from Middle Eastern religions. Right now, the United States is under attack from Middle Eastern religions. Christianity is under attack from Middle Eastern religions. It's a religious war. The people that are here in this country that are destroying it, the people that have been brought in are not Christians. They are Muslims. They are Israelis, Jewish. And both those peoples don't like us. They hate Christians. There are good Jews, folks. Don't get me wrong. But the people they're bringing in are the ones that are against us. It's a religious war. A war against our religion, our faith, our culture, our traditions, which have spawned our laws, our Constitution, and our Declaration of Independence. They cannot defeat America as long as we have these little teeny books. Look at that. Look at that cute little book. That's the Declaration of Independence. That's the Constitution. This has excerpts from the Federalist Papers and thoughts from the Founding Fathers. This tiny little book. This is like a seed that when planted in the soil and is fertilized with the blood of patriots and traitors and tyrants, grows into a mighty oak tree. A little Constitution can grow an entire country. Our thoughts on World War III, it's all of those things. It's an attack on all of us. It can be a military war, and it very well may turn into that. We could end up with local partisan conflicts. We could have regional partisan conflicts and regional civil war. On the state level, do the people in a state want to allow the people at the state capitals to destroy them, steal their money, arrest people, allow criminals to get away with what they're doing? Or are people in some states, like California, Illinois, New York, Texas, Florida, are they going to allow their state government to continue to commit acts of treason against their own people, against their own resources, against their own environment, against their own soil? That's what I see happening in California. Also, Hawaii, Oregon, Washington. It's happening now in Nevada and Idaho and Arizona, Utah, Colorado. Texas is in a battle over a conflict for its own soul. Florida right now is in a battle, and it's developing right now. There's now a man named James Fishback running for governor against Byron Donalds, and there's a third Republican. But Byron Donalds is taking money from AIPAC, and the people are very pissed off about it. They're not liking it. They're not supporting him. This Fishback guy seems to be a rather intelligent fellow, is America first, Florida first. Currently in the Florida legislature, they're trying to pass laws, literal laws, not just ideas, but laws outlawing illegals having driver's licenses, bank accounts, houses, being able to operate. They're fucking illegals. They should not be allowed to have credit cards, bank accounts, money, etc. Good. How about that? Law and order. But there's a fight for it here. And I heard today that in many cities there were protests, Democrats out there. Doesn't matter how red your state is or how red your county or even your city is. Around you are going to be anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6 Democrats who are just radical lunatics that want you dead. Thoughts on World War III? Russia has brought out their giant Red October style submarine. Never mind the silent drive, they can deploy artificial intelligence, autonomous controlled torpedoes with nuclear fucking warheads. They can sink anything they want just as surely as the American military can sink what they want. World War III with China. I made a joke the other day, but it is very true. China could have said, hey, look, you can have Venezuela. We're taking Taiwan. Fuck you. You want to make a big deal out of Venezuela? We're going after Taiwan. China is supposed to have 1.4 screaming citizens all yelling, Hail Mao, right? Or Heil Mao, if you wish. The Chinese are China. The Chinese people love China. The Chinese people are Chinese. The Chinese people will do whatever their fucking government tells them to because they're fucking Chinese. And the government's communist as fuck. And the People's Liberation Army of China will do whatever they're told. They're very militant. They are very aggressive. World War III could come out of China, hitting Taiwan. It could be North Korea going after South Korea or Japan. We could have Ukraine with the help of England and other European asshole nations trying another frontal attack on Putin. Putin could respond. The United States could get stupid. And Trump is already definitely threatening Cuba. Now, there's so much going on. Let me give you this. Washington, D.C. and the mainstream media have been saying that Iranian protests are going on and the people of Iran are standing up for themselves. But are they? Is the mainstream media in Washington, D.C. talking about the thousands and thousands of Israeli citizens and Jews who are against the Zionist, neocon, warmongering Jewish Israelis? That's right. Israel isn't unified against the world. Just the people who are in power, in charge. They're a bunch of power-mad, crazy, psychotic fucks led by their King Bibi. But the mainstream media won't tell you about that. But Israel could light off and go fucking nuts if these people lose their power, the people rise up. What if there's a color revolution in Israel? And the government says, fuck it, and they hit the big button, and they launch all their nukes. There's your World War III. Oh, but over in Iran, D.C. and the mainstream media are saying there's Iranian protests. Iranian police have arrested, folks, a group of Indian protesters that are inside of Iran. Guess what these Indian protesters were doing? They were throwing Molotov cocktails at Muslim mosques. There's not as many Muslims in Iran as we're led to believe, but there's a lot of them. But they have Indian protesters in Iran throwing Molotov cocktails at Muslim mosques. Now, the reporting that's coming out of Iran, and it's pretty sketchy, but the reporting coming out says that those Indians were paid for and hired by, you got it, Mossad. As the protests have happened, Mossad, Israel, is over there encouraging violence and paying people to do it. The Iranian officials that have captured these Indians that were hired by Israel and paid by Mossad, which is Israel's CIA, they're saying that they're going to be executed soon. You see, they're going to keep law and order as long as they can in Iran by killing the bad guys for treason, for being agents provocateur, for attempting murder. Now, while I agree that people should have a fair trial, I think that's a natural right type of thing. The government of Iran is not that way. They are going to have a military style trial. Just look at the people and go, did you throw a fucking thing? And they're going to go, well, yeah, I guess I did, huh? Yeah, because we have it on video. You're dead. Bam. That's it. Trial over. But think about it. It's always agents provocateurs, a.k.a. paid protesters, who bring violence to a protest, to escalate the violence, to escalate death, and create a regime change atmosphere. Or, if that doesn't work, it creates a massive slaughter by government forces against the protesters, which, of course, then the world gets all pissed off. Oh, my God, you violated their rights. Look at what Israel is doing in Gaza. They've killed over 500,000 people. They have sniped, as a matter of military policy, children and women, but children, shooting them through the chest, shooting them through the head, killing them. Don't tell me Iran can't kill their people, and that's a war crime. That's genocide. That's illegal, while we let Israel get away with it. And by we, I mean the United States government and Washington, D.C. A lot of European nations are anti-Israel because of what's going on. They're pissed off because of what's going on. They don't want to support. In fact, they want to arrest Netanyahu. That's right. He's got a different name. His actual birth name from Poland. Yeah, Netanyahu is Polish by birth, Jewish by religion. Specifically, Zionist, neocon, warmongering fuck. Maleyakowski, Benjamin B.B. Maleyakowski, by the way, I guess is related to, and this is a big fucking 180, Javier Milei down in Argentina is doing everything he can now to offer Israel whatever they want in Argentina. So they passed a rule saying when our pristine forests burn, no longer are they protected forest lands. We can just sell them at that point and they can be developed. So all of a sudden there's Israeli tourists there setting fires to these forests so that Israelis with money can come there and buy up the land and do what they want with it. All they got to do is burn it. And the Argentinian people are pissed off. Anyways, I know I'm not trying to wander all over the place. But World War III is everything at this point. And I believe it was none other than the supposed smartest man to ever live, Albert Einstein, by the way, joke, not true. He said the smartest man alive was Nikola Tesla. Anyways, I believe it was Albert Einstein, or at least he's credited with saying, I don't know how World War III is going to be fought, but I do know that it'll be fought with sticks and stones. Meaning if we go into full-on World War III and the world looks like this, they're going to bomb us into the fucking Stone Ages. Just wow. Folks, we're 1 hour and 15 minutes into the show. We got 45 minutes left. What I want to know is what you want to talk about. What's on your mind? Any topic. I don't care. Bring it up. I'll talk about it. I'll use special code words if I have to, but we'll be talking about everything going on. Currently, I am not being punished, silenced, suspended for any topics, even vaccines, even COVID, even the Jim Jones juice, right? No, they're not for now. Don't worry, they will later. They will later. They'll have to do something. Israel's not happy with us. They are shadow banning us. They're hiding us. They're not recommending us, which is why I tell you guys, please, thumbs up every video. Subscribe if you want to comment. And share the internet address at the top of your screen. Share it. Share it with friends, family, coworkers, even people you fucking hate, just to rub it in their face. Like, hey, motherfucker, look at this. Bam. Anyways, I recommend it. That helps YouTube recognize what we're doing here is popular. At the very least, if we're thumbs upping everything and getting thousands of views, which we're getting, it's a big middle finger to YouTube. Like, no matter what you do, you can't stop us. Right? X has become a filthy, dirty, loathsome place for free speech. Well, no, it's pretty free for everyone, especially Elon Musk, who's completely off his, well, he's not off, but he's on it. Anything having to do with white genocide, he reposts or posts about, he's fine, he'll get away with it. But you say anything about Israel, they'll destroy you. The Prepared Mind on X has been permanently suspended. Don't worry, they tried taking our money. Yeah, they did. But they're permanently suspended. We're fighting it. We're appealing it. They won't respond or answer because they said, I liked, I hearted, and I reposted other people's work that wasn't completely accurate. Oh, you mean someone lied and I laughed about it? I liked it. I reposted it. Someone else's fuck up. And I look at things. I won't repost something controversial. Usually by the time I get it, thousands of people have reposted it. Are you telling me that X is suspending permanently everybody who does what I do? No, only because my broadcast discussing fucked up Ukraine, fucked up Europe, fucked up Israel, fucked up China, fucked up Russia, fucked up the United States of America. They can't have us talking about Israel. The Israelis have wanted to prove to the world, by the way, that they don't control the media. They want to prove that they don't control the media by controlling the media absolutely and not allowing any criticism of them. That's how little control they have. Now they're telling X what to do. They tell YouTube what to do. They tell Instagram what to do. They tell Meta, Facebook what to do and what they can have on there. They've got their people, Israelis, working hand in hand like a bunch of happy homos skipping down the primrose path, showing these companies how to silence people like me and you. That's what they do. All right, Mr. Uman, where are we going to go next? It is the Prepared Mind channel, Sunday Night Live, and we got Blue Cord Devil with a $50 super chat. Happy New Year to you, Blue Cord, and, well, one and all. 18-year scotch right here, amigo. I was ready for another drink because we're well into the second hour, an hour and 20 minutes in. And it's going to be a long week, folks. 5-day work week. Cheers to you, Blue Cord. Cheers. And Semper Fi. Blue Cord says, speaking of red states, saw in Montana 2 liberal white women out protesting. Big trucks driving by, letting them know where they can go. Yeah, Montana is an interesting place. It's full of really good people, except for the people who have, well, migrated there from California. Yeah, for some reason, Montana, I guess Flathead Lake and a couple other areas, is very popular to have your second home, your millionaire's mansion, your vacation retreat, and of course, your SHTF bug out bunker location in Montana. I got news for you fucking liberal fucks that think you're going to hide in Montana. The Native Americans there, still a little bit angry. And I don't think they're going to like you guys. I don't think the cowboys, I don't think the Hutterites, I don't think the good people of Montana are going to take real well to the world getting burned to a fucking crisp and you people hiding out in their state. In any event, yeah, you will have some liberals here and there trying it. And it looks like Uman is having a party at the Mobile Command Center. Oh, yeah, he's laughing and yucking it up. I don't know what he's up to. Crazy stuff. Anyways, Blue Cord, you're absolutely right to bring up this topic. The working people of this country couldn't give a shit about the liberals. They've got time to stand around, protest, hold signs, obstruct people from getting to work, getting their kids to school, getting their kids home from school. And that lady, the fat poet lesbian bitch who's now dead, and her lesbian bitch wife, not dead. What kind of mother puts her political opinion in front of her children? And what I mean by that is if she could be arrested, if she could be injured, right, and she was allegedly killed, right? That's what all the news is saying. Why would you take that chance and lose your children? In fact, we were told she's got 3 children. We were told she's got only 1 child. Actually, she's had 3, but she lost 2 in a custody battle with the father, is what I understand. In other words, she's a terrible fucking mom. Good for those 2 kids to escape that lunatic, crazy bitch. But what kind of person does that? Like these 2 liberal white women standing out there trying to convince people who couldn't give a fuck to give a fuck about them. This scene back here, folks. Cars, explosions, death, pain, destruction. It is a scary, scary world. All right, folks, it's your show. It's Sunday Night Live. We're closing in on the 90-minute mark. We got a little ways to go. We got questions lined up. Down below in the description of the video is a Venmo, CashApp, PayPal link. If you want to send in a donation, the donation keeps the lights on, Well, it keeps the water pumped out of the Prepared Mind underground bunker. It keeps the rats killed and removed so they can't dig and burrow their way in. Right? Your donations keep tuna fish and spam, rice and beans inside the Prepared Mind larder, the pantry. And it pays for, folks, servers, subscriptions, the cost of doing business. It's not free. And you guys make it happen. You give enough money so that I can be here instead of out there working. I don't want to climb the stairs out of here and have to go to work 12 hours a day, 6 or 7 days a week to pay the bills. So you guys make it so I don't have to do that just to help pay for this show. Seriously, without you guys, the show doesn't happen. So thank you so very, very much. But, you know, if silver were to go to $1,000 an ounce, that'd be a good thing, don't you think? Then, with the silver that I have, I could afford to run this show for several years on my own. Oh, this week is probably going to get really interesting in the precious metals market. Precious metals, gold and silver, tied to the currency and payment system, which is tied to the monetary system, which is tied to the government funding system, which is tied to the fiscal management system, which is tied to international trade settlement and policy. Here we go. So, well, we're going to do a precious metal update. Silver at the open on foreign markets was at 81.57. Gold is at 45.55. Okay, it was at 4,500 flat before the market opened. And silver was at 79.79 at the close on Friday. They lowered it even more, but it's jumped from 79 to 81.57 in the foreign markets. A $2.50 opening bid for the silver. There is a massive shortage. Interestingly, there's this guy called Asian Guy, and he has at least a dozen channels, probably 3 or 4 dozen now. There's different Asian guys now. They all sound the same, but they're starting to look different. Some are in an office. Some are off to the side of the video. There's Asian Girl. It is pure, unadulterated propaganda. And I don't mean it's all lies. I mean propaganda. To understand how propaganda is used most effectively, it has to appeal to a certain demographic. They also have to use, in my opinion, to be a very effective propaganda. It needs to be a minimum of 75% accurate. But the more lies you have in your propaganda, the more easily it'll be detected by people, except for brain dead, stupid, fucking retarded Republicans and Democrats. But intelligent people will see the lies and go, gotcha, nuh-uh. So the more effective propagandists tell 80, 90, 95% fact and truth, and then slip in little digs, little pushes to help direct people to think the way they want them. Understand this Asian guy, sometimes his videos are really spot on. Other times, you're like, where the fuck did you come up with that? Your dates are wrong, the numbers are wrong, you're full of shit, right? But Asian guy, they're refining it, they're perfecting it. Is it China? Is it Iran? Is it Israel? Is it some European nation? Is it the World Economic Forum? Is it Washington, D.C.? Is it a rogue agency in Washington, D.C. that loves America or maybe hates America? And they're doing all of this propaganda. You see, my propaganda is to get you prepared, to think for yourself, and understand who your enemies are. That's my propaganda. I'll come right out and tell you that's exactly what I'm for. Mr. Uman, Chelsea P. has done another $50 super chat. What are you doing? All right. It says zoo cheers. Okay. Let's keep an eye out for Chelsea P. Chelsea, you've got another shot at it here. Let's see, 50 and 50. Yeah. Okay. That's what we got here. Wow. Thank you again for the great support. Needing all the help I can get, needing all the scotch I can get. Here we go. I'm going to take care of Mr. John with this 18-year Glenfiddich. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm telling you. Semper Fi means always faithful, folks, to what you believe and know to be true, to the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, and to our traditions and culture as Americans, as free people, and as we support other countries around the world that we want to have those same virtues in their government and their people. Freedom, liberty, truth, and justice. Woo! That one was extra potent, Chelsea. All right. And she asked the question, what are your thoughts on Greenland? Well, it's not as green as you might think, according to its name. It's not as big on the maps as it looks like on a flat Mercator map. It's actually much smaller, much, much smaller. Just like Canada is much, much smaller. Just like Russia and Europe are much, much smaller than they look on the map because of the actual shape of the planet. So the Mercator projection. Now, enough of my comedy. Thoughts on Greenland. Denmark owns Greenland. Apparently, they colonized it. They're colonizers, folks. Oh, yeah, they're colonizers. Shouldn't we be creating liberty for the colonies of Denmark? Right? What about the Inuits? What about the Aboriginals, the natives, if you will, that live in Greenland? Shouldn't we care about them? I don't even know if Denmark treats them well or not. I have no clue. Apparently, there's approximately 50,000 people there. And I think Denmark was the, and folks, I love the Danes. I love wooden shoes. I love windmills. I love ice skates. I love floating in boats on the water, right? I got a lot in common with the Danes, the Dutch, because, well, genetics. I'm Scandinavian. Okay, but Greenland. Trump has been threatening to take Greenland. Trump thinks that Greenland is necessary to secure the, let's be frank, to secure the power and authority and resources of the United States government. I don't believe for a second that Trump wants Greenland because it's going to help us Americans. He hasn't done a whole lot to help us Americans other than promise us no taxes, promise us $5,000 rebates, promise us $2,000 rebates, promise us a 1776 rebate, promising us, well, maybe no taxes at all, promising us that tariffs will solve all our problems. Lots of promises, but nothing really has done anything. So what is Greenland? Greenland is a nation state or a nation colony offshore. It's a large island. And it's necessary for the United States of America to maintain a military and surveillance cushion around our country. Folks, even more so than Canada or any other country on the planet, the United States of America has a cushion. On one coast, we have the Pacific Ocean, which is 3,000. I'm sorry, it's even more than that. But it's 1/3 of the Earth's circumference. Everyone's on the other side of that. It's a long ways. On the eastern shore, we've got the Atlantic Ocean to keep Africa and Europe off of us. To the south, we've got Mexico. And if we had finished the fucking wall, we'd have that cushion. To the north, we've got snow Mexicans, the Canadians, which is a pejorative, but it's also humorous. Okay. I'm telling you, folks. We've got a huge cushion. Greenland will increase that. There are American interests there. I'm sure they are defense interests, as in defense contractors, military. We also have, I believe NASA does a lot of work up there, you know, because it looks like Mars. I'm sure there are also corporations that have discovered mineral deposits in Greenland, and Trump has not been quiet about it. He's made it very well known, that there's stuff there that we need to make America strong. And so he wants to go after it. My thoughts on Greenland is I don't believe that the United States of America needs to do anything in Greenland. I don't know if it's a ruse. I don't know if it's a rope-a-dope. I don't know if it's a gotcha. What I do know is that it is very upsetting to Europe. They are threatening to kick the United States of America out of NATO, which I'm all for. NATO needs to take care of itself. America needs to take care of itself. We need to quit giving things to other countries like Ukraine and Israel. We need to quit protecting the world. We need to get the fuck out of South America, get the hell out of Central America. And we need to get Mexico in line and Canada in line. We need to get this illegal immigrant third world shit out of all of our countries. Why do we need to go to war in yet one other place? So we've got Ukraine, we've got Taiwan, we've got South Korea, we've got Japan, we've got the Pacific Islands in the Western Pacific next to China to protect. We've got military interests in Eastern Europe. We've got military interests and infrastructure interests in Canada. I'm sorry, not Canada, but Africa. Everywhere. Do we need one more thing to fuck with? Or could we, should we? I'll ask you this. Could we or should we bring our troops home from all of these places around the world and in turn not spend that money in these other countries? And you'll find out exactly how fast before they start screaming and yelling for America to come and help them. You know, the French are fucking retards under Emmanuel Macron and his husband. You know, I watched a video on the French Polynesia, which is like the French Hawaii south of the equator. Apparently they're being fussy, not the people, but the government of these islands, being fussy about Americans visiting. We don't like it. Well, but when you don't go there, they don't get money. You see, American money supports the world, American wealth. But that's all being destroyed. In fact, the dollar, which is representative of our wealth, is being destroyed faster than we can even make it. So even we're being, shall we say, robbed blind as the government robs blind the whole world. But we're going into a giant reset, folks. The Great Reset that Klaus Schwab talked about. Klaus wanted the Great Reset, yeah. Well, sorry, Klaus, go fuck yourself. But like it or not, folks, we're getting a great reset because the system they created, the Bretton Woods, then petrodollar system, as an economic model to run the world on has failed, which is why gold and silver are going up, up, up. The price of all commodities is going up, up, up. The price of food is going to go up. In America, we don't even have food anymore. Now we have chemicals and GMO shit because it's cheaper to make chemicals to feed us than it is to grow food. It's better for Monsanto and big agriculture to sell shit seeds that are modified so they create their own poisons inside and have very little nutritional value for us. But boy, they're full of sugar. And so they feed us that shit. They're poisoning us. They're stealing from us. They're robbing us blind. They're sterilizing us. They're fucking killing us. Everyone. World War III, it's coming. Now, what's fascinating to me is it's not just going to be the United States that burns or just Europe. World War III, if it gets hot, nasty, is going to be extremely destructive to every country on the planet, including the United States of America. Other countries don't have money or resources to survive without an effective operating model of food, water, money, and trade But in the United States of America, while we have all of those things that we can do internally, a lot of it has been sent to China and down to Mexico, and they're getting the wealth and resources from that. But here in America, we've created our own internal model of destruction. And that is the political system, which we've described ad nauseum, with all these foreign fucks coming in, these foreign religions interfering, these foreign countries paying people, and the stupid liberal dimwits that want to see the country absolutely destroyed. Anyways, I got another message. Hold on to that thought, Chin. I got another message from Venmo that Chelsea commented. I can't open it because it requires a special app that I don't have. But Chelsea, if you got anything else, get it to Mr. Uman in the comments section. He'll be keeping an eye out for it. I don't know if that was already taken care of with the last message. And now Chin Music is back. And he says, Europe is going to kick us out of NATO? That's like Jerry, the Democrat, no-nads Nadler, throwing the bouncer out of the bar. Yeah. Yeah. Europe kicking the United States of America out of NATO if that is, the United States makes a move on Greenland. Now, if they're going to make a move on Greenland, odds are it's going to be very similar to the move that was made on Venezuela. First thing they'll do is lots of planning. The next step is to do even more planning late at night and ordering a lot of pizzas at the Pentagon, so that the world knows they're ordering a lot of pizzas at the Pentagon. They won't fucking listen to me and have their own cafeterias stocked with a shit pile of frozen pizzas, so the world doesn't know when they're ordering extra pizzas while they're planning an invasion at the Pentagon. That's step 2, ordering the pizzas. Step 3, you send the Navy up there offshore. You have those naval vessels and Marine Corps vessels loaded with jarheads, ready to chew Constantine wire and fucking piss napalm. You'll also, don't worry, you're going to have the 101st and the 82nd there as well, ready to roll if needed, if they want to do a large-scale invasion. Now, here's the deal. Greenland has 50,000 people. Greenland does not have a military. It's Greenland. It's a giant fucking ice-covered continent. Because, global warming. It's not a continent, it's an island. I apologize. Misspoke. But it's covered in fucking ice. You know that Greenland was actually green 800 years ago? 900 years ago? And the Vikings sailed over there, Eric the Red. They called it Greenland. Right? They also found Vinland, right? Vineland. Greenland was so unmelted, so frozen, I should say, melted, that they had sheep there, they had settlements there. The Vikings were traveling down the east coast of Canada and settling it. Yeah, that's how hot it was. And in England, they could grow wine grapes 800 years ago. Not now. They had some serious global warming. Where was all the industry back then? All the smokestacks and all the charcoal being burned? There wasn't. Anyways, these fucking people. Greenland has 50,000 people. They've got no standing army, no military. And the Danes. Good people, stupid government. They're inviting their own destruction just like the American government is. They're kick us out of NATO. The United States government pays, I think, 90% of the NATO defense bill. No army in Europe exists. They have military units. They have a NATO OTAN force. Oh, they've got NATO and then OTAN. They just spell it backwards with their letters. Oh, NATO OTAN. See how cool we are? We're Euro trash. Fuck you guys in the leadership positions. You're every bit as crooked, corrupt, stupid, and asshole-ish as the American politicians and the Canadian politicians and the fucking Mexican politicians. Yeah, NATO's going to kick us out. Yeah, that is like an infant doing something that infants can't do. Kicking an adult's ass. It's not going to happen. but Europe does have military units. The English, they can't mount a fucking war. They can't. No, the French know. The Germans know. The Poles know. No. Now, I mean, the United States military trains with their units, but they don't have a standing fucking army like the Chinese or the Russians or the United States of America. The United States of America has the largest military on the planet because we have active duty and reserves and National Guard and a pool of veterans who would lick their chops at the opportunity to wipe out our enemies, domestic and foreign. Because it needs to happen. As much as the World Economic Forum and the governments of the world, through their bullshit organizations, their secret organizations like the Bilderbergs, the Club of Rome, the World Economic Forum, fuck all you guys. They want to cull us. They want to kill us. They want to kill 90 to 95% of the world population through sterilization, disease, cancer, pestilence, starvation, murder, genocide, nuclear war. They don't give a fuck. They want to kill us all so that they can retain power and not have to be worried about everything else. That's what they want to do to us. Shouldn't we want to do that to them? When an enemy wants to kill you and threatens you, you should be looking at that enemy and understanding what they need. The funny thing is if these global elite cocksuckers, if we went after them in every country, if we had a real leader in this country that said, all right, in the United States, we're going to clean these fuckers out. The Epstein list, the corporate assholes, the banking assholes, the GMO assholes, the medical assholes, the military assholes that are not pro-America. We're going to take care of our country. You, Europe, take care of your country. Russia, China, everyone. Get rid of the assholes. Instead of 8 billion people, we would have 7,900,000,000 people. Not very many need to disappear to get the evil off this fucking planet. And it would teach a valuable lesson, would it not, to the rest of the world? In fact, that lesson was once taught to elites, kings, aristocrats, lizard people. They all learned a very valuable lesson that started in 1776 when people stood up and said, you know what? Fuck this, no more. We're done with it. We're absolutely done with it. The king, fuck you. The military, fuck you. The judges, fuck you. The bureaucracy, fuck you. The governors, fuck you. We're going to govern ourselves. We don't need you. We don't need you, government from England. We don't need you, government from Europe. We don't need you, government from Israel, from China, from Russia. We're Americans. We should be able to take care of ourselves. And we should, by right, and ought to, take care of our own first. America first. If that happens, hang on, folks. You want to talk about SHTF. Mr. Uman, who's up next on the channel? What do we got? We've got Dan the Man Erickson with a $5 super chat. And he says, water purification methods are essential. And no water, you're non-functional very quickly. What's your go-to for fresh water in SHTF scenario? That's a question. What's your go-to for fresh water? Water you can drink and consume in SHTF. For me, the answer is way different than someone who is, well, in Arizona or New Mexico or West Texas. It's different for me than it is for someone in the state of Washington or the state of California. It has to do with geography. If you're in a low water area, guess what? Yeah, people are going to dehydrate. And when you dehydrate, you cramp. You can't function. You can't digest food. You can't think clearly. You can't walk distances. You can't operate or think properly. Water is critical. Water is absolutely critical. Washington State, you've got rainforests on the coastal side. Same with Oregon and Northern California, right? You go to the high desert side, you still have lots of rain, lots of water. It's a different environment. In Florida here, the go-to, it's fucking sand here. You can literally take a PVC pipe and a hammer and tap it down about 10 feet, suck on it like a fucking straw, and you got water. Now, Is it potable, or does it have bacteria and germs in it? Probably. But for the most part, there's ponds, rivers, or creeks. There's springs here. There's bodies of water, lakes. I'm good. One of the main reasons I thought Florida, good. The laws are good. The people are good. The culture's good. The water is here. There's lots of alligators to eat. Or if you're a bad guy, there's lots of alligators to have you fed to them. Anyways, fresh water is absolutely essential. And Big Dan is correct. Don't forgo. Don't think it's not a big deal. Don't think it's going to be readily available. If you don't have access to water on your own because you're on city water and there's not ponds and not rivers, you need to look into a way to bulk store massive amounts of water. Some people have swimming pools. That could be 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 25,000 gallons of water. All you've got to do is secure it from evaporation and contamination. Swimming pools are full of chlorine. It keeps all the bugs dead. Bugs meaning bacteria, viruses, that sort of thing. But if you can stretch a tarp out over your pool, weigh it down with bricks or rocks, you have a secure supply of water while things are bad. Right? And it's defensible. It's at your house or your property or whatever. Water is critical. Other people, you need to store it. Lots of bottled water. You need to think, if there's water sources available, how far are they? How far do I have to go to get some? If I do that, am I going to get shot? Water is important, folks. Do not minimize the importance of it. Do not forget. Anyways, thank you, Big Dan. You're always here with good stuff. That's on the prepper side, the planning side, the thinking side. Everyone else, they're getting thirsty. They're getting cramps. They're getting tired. They can't digest their food. Their system's shutting down. Their brain isn't working. That makes them scared. That makes them dangerous. That makes them, well, unreliable. They're dangers. If other people are dangerous, you need to make sure you're safe. Make sure you got water. Ooh, man, who's up next? We got, less than 10 minutes to go. What do we got? Lots of comments. We got Brad Junes checking in. And at the $2 super chat, he says, war is kind of going on in California now. Well, you got Republicans protesting in the Palisades area down in SoCal. You've got protests in Los Angeles. You got protests in the Bay Area. Small. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. People aren't getting shot off the street, shot out of their cars, shot out of their homes. Right? Things are getting nasty, though. People are waking up. Areas of California are just incredible, folks, with resources, but food is going to be scarce. Certain areas, water is abundant. Other areas, water not so much. The politicians, the people that are screwing the entire system up, are going to continue to do exactly what they're doing and screwing the entire system up. Hang on in California. I left there with cause. I left there prejudicially. That state cannot be saved. It has been overrun, not with just Mexicans from Mexico. It's been overrun with people from the Middle East, people from India. It's overrun with foreigners. One of the most beautiful, resource-rich places on the planet. Agriculture, mining, water. Fucked. Anyways, here we go, right? Thank you, Brad, very much. Ooh, man, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got who? We got Shelly Chavers with the $20 super chat. All right, Shelly. She says, I wish I could still be positive about our current administration. I'm right there with you, Chelsea. I'm right there with Shelly. I'm right there with you. I've lost all optimism. She says, however, how many countries are we going to invade without repercussion? Repercussion from other countries, repercussion from our allies, repercussion from within the country, repercussion financially, economically, militarily. There's consequences for everything, good and bad. How many other countries? We are living in troubled times for sure. God help us all. Thank you for that, Shelly. Thanks, John. Love y'all. I tell you what, Shelly, we're all in this literally together as free Americans. But we're also all in this together, not with just ourselves, But with these fuckheads, these liberals, and these foreigners, and foreign military, and people from the southern and other borders that want to invade our country, we patriots, we Americans, true Americans, not these fake Americans that have decided to sell out. We're in this together, facing Democrats, lying Republicans, foreigners, terrorists, foreign nations, and our own government is acting like the biggest enemy of all by selling us out, stealing our wealth, and fucking us over. All while praising themselves and saying they're doing a great job. I don't know what fucking planet they're on. I think they've taken their own fucking Kool-Aid and drank too much of it. People like Dan Bongina think he's a fucking hero. Literally, he thinks he's a hero after doing absolutely nothing and lying to us, saying he would, then doing nothing, then coming back out and thinking we're just going to get behind him and go, hey, thanks, buddy. You've got the younger generations, Gen Z especially. Yes, there's a bunch of the homosexual, transgender, stupid, pink hair, green hair, blue haired fruitcakes that are left-wingers. But the conservative Gen Z, and by conservative and Gen Z, I mean 30 years and younger, all the way down to 15-year-olds, they are, if they're not sold out, lost leftists, extremely, virulently, strongly, uncompromisingly pro-America conservative, fuck the old people who ruined everything. And in Florida, James Fishback is appealing to these younger Americans to support him. He's only 31-year-old. And to me, he seems like a better candidate than any other. I hate to say the lesser of two evils because I haven't heard anything evil out of him yet. But still, maybe someone will get to him. Maybe someone will buy him. Maybe they'll clone him. Have a body double that wears a mask and sells out the name James Fishback. And we're like, what happened? I thought that was a good guy. We're going to find out. We are living in troubled times. You bet, Shelley. And if we don't get our handles and our arms around this, we're going to be fucked. And I think that's just a fact of, well, the way the world is working. Let's do this. Thank you, Shelley. Shit, I'm running out of time. I will stay here as long as you guys need me to. And you have questions, comments, thoughts, and super chats. Let's do it, Mr. Uman. Oh, and it's Blue Cord Devil. Holy cow. Another scotch. And just keeping me right on that lubed up bubble, right? Just enough scotch to keep me going. That's poured that one a little tall there, Blue Cord. Thank you for the 18-year single malt scotch. The weekends are tough. And by the end of the weekend, I'm so worn out, I'm ready for a work week that's going to wear me out the other way. Here you are, brother. And there you go, down the hatch. He says, peace and prayers, John, Jolene, Uman, and everyone else out there. That's you guys. Watch your six. Stay calm. Stay armed. Folks, if you've got a weapon, a gun, a pistol, or whatever you can lawfully carry, and you never have to use it, no matter how big things get, how bad things get, well, scotch is working. No matter how bad things get, if you don't have to use it, good. But if you need it and you don't have it, you could be injured or killed. Blue Cord says you may also want to get a pro mask with several extra filters. At thepreparedmind.club, we should have and used to have a link to gas masks. My recommendation is you get gas masks for yourself and your family and your group, whatever your group consists of. They're inexpensive. Extra filters are needed as well. If you get a NATO mask, NATO countries have, while they may have different designs for their masks, they have a universal screw-on filter cartridge. They're supposed to be good for nuclear, biological, chemical, meaning no matter what the attack, you can wear that, you can breathe, and you are protected. Now, biological, you mean like Germ warfare. Yeah, germ warfare. I mean, if you want to be protected against cerveza bug, the common cold, and other, you need one of these masks. Nothing is foolproof. Nothing is 100%. But a gas mask rated for biological, nuclear, and chemical weapons is your best bet. It's your best bet. It's a good idea. I have several gas masks. I have many cartridges to replace them. Go to thepreparedmind.club and look up and see and make sure we still have access to companies. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Woo! Mr. Uman, do we have more coming? We got Viking Boomer checking back in with his number 2 for the day. $20 super chat donation. He says, hey, the West and especially America are hated due to envy. Very true. Jealousy. Very true. And we let all of our haters in. The West, meaning Canada, Europe, United States, England. Yes, we let all these people in. They want what we have. That's envy. They covet what we have. And so they are angry, greedy, jealous, and hate-filled. And so they come to our countries not to assimilate, not for the chance to prosper and live well, to live peacefully, but a chance to get in, steal our money, steal our resources, and rape women, enslave little girls as sex toys, kill the men, and steal our valuable and our wealth. That's why they're here. And it's, well, Viking says it's very similar to what the Romans did. History repeating itself? You bet, Viking. History repeats itself time and time again. Time and time again. Rome kept expanding. Rome 2,000 years ago. Because it was so corrupt. It was so hungry for resources. But in order to have a military go further and further and further around the Mediterranean, north up into Germania, north up into the England, Scotland, in order to go north, in order to head towards Iran to the east. They couldn't go very far. The fucking Sahara Desert stopped them in North Africa. But they went everywhere they could. And the further they went to fight, the harder and the more resources it took to keep that military fed, armed, trained, and manned. You run out of guys, where are you going to get them? Right? So what did they do? They had to take in mercenaries, people from other countries, and hope that they would perform. It was a system that was destined to fail because corruption always destroys an empire. Corruption is what destroys an empire. Crazy business. Thank you, Viking. Mr. Uman, we've passed the 2-hour mark, but we're still going. And we got Vijin checking in, and he is a YouTube member. And is that an artistic interpretation version of Martin Luther? I think it just might be. All right, Uman doesn't fucking know. I've seen that portrait many times. It's a painted portrait. I think that is Martin Luther. The man who said, hey, Catholicism, you're fucked up. We're going to try Protestantism. And he also wrote a book about the Jews and the Talmud 500 years ago. It's nothing new, folks. The same people doing the same things with the same corruption, etc. Uh-oh. Chelsea says, I skipped the $100 Venmo. I can't have that. That's no good. We wanted to hear a topic of his choice. We haven't been on in a while, and we're trying to make up for it. Chelsea, you and your husband have more than made up for it. Thank you. I got one, and then I got a thing from Venmo. It says 2. Chelsea paid. And I thought, why is it duplicating it? Looks like there's a $100 Venmo in there. And that means, number 1, I'll be having another drink. Well, I almost poured it into my coffee cup. So first off, at the end of the show, and in salute to you and husband, Chelsea, I'm going to do this, and then I have a great topic that I'd love to talk to you guys about. So smooth. Wow. Kind of warming me up here. Let's do this. I've got some great topics. I want to make sure I get to them properly. I don't want to get to the ones that are short. I've got a really, really good one. There it is. Okay. This has to do with the ICE officer acting in self-defense. And it's the argument for self-defense. As Americans, we tend to, Chelsea, we tend to say, you know what? My life is as valuable as yours. I don't care if you're what color you are, what gender you are, what race you are, what your position in government is. Your life is no valuable more than mine. So this is the discussion that I wrote for that. And what I was writing was that suggesting that the officer should have assessed the trajectory of the SUV based solely, what some people are saying, he should have seen that the steering wheel was turned. Well, he was just a few inches or feet from the hood. It's unrealistic to expect somebody to be able to see the car, the vehicle, listen to the engine, see the wheels, where they're turned, what the driver is doing, what they're up to, and listen to everyone else screaming, and then be able to make the absolute best decision where nobody in the world gets hurt. It's unrealistic to do so. No officer can rely on assumptions about a driver's intentions when a vehicle is lunging towards them, right? The tires are spinning, the gas is hit, the engine's revved, and the car starts to move. He's assuming this person's trying to fucking kill me. He can't see that the steering wheel is turned and the wheels are turned. In fact, on ice, she could have turned the front and brought the ass in, whipped it around. Anyone who's driven on ice and snow knows you turn the wheel, you step on the gas, the ass will spin around and use that like a fucking battering ram to hit the guy, right? How can he know what the vehicle is going to do? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, man. You can't know what someone's intent is 100%, especially when you've got no time. Now, this distinction matters between what you can do and what you're capable of doing and doing your very best. The distinction matters because use of force standards measure the reasonableness from the officer's perspective in real time, right? The officer can't go, well, in hindsight, and that's what I should have done. Or everyone, time out, I'm going to do a slow motion replay of everything and everyone so I can assess everything before I decide to defend myself against a threat. And again, they're like, well, all he had to do is get out of the way and let her escape. Well, yeah, I get that. I understand that. I've made that argument. Maybe they should have just let her escape. But maybe she'd have gone down the street, whipped around, come back and charged at them all full speed and taken out not only one officer, but maybe multiples and civilians as well in a fit of stupid rage. And everyone has to agree, if you're intelligent and informed, that Democrats, these lunatic protesters, you cannot rely on them to use good judgment. They're fucking whacked out of their minds. Now, so you can't use hindsight. You can't use slow motion. You got to make a decision right at that point based on what's going on. This person has been harassing them, following them, giving me a hard time, refusing to obey, and now they're taking violent steps after being told, stop, get out of the vehicle, right? A rapidly accelerating vehicle at close distance is, according to federal training programs, it's recognized as a lethal threat. A lethal threat. Now, that's what happened. That's why he shot. That's why the police, the government are saying, hey, he was in the right. But that's the exact reason all the protesters are mad, because they don't want ICE to be right. They don't accept that ICE or Department of Homeland Security or Customs and Border Patrol are right. They're always wrong because, well, they're Democrats and they say so. But I want to say, okay, great. Does this standard apply when you, me, average Americans have to defend ourselves? For example, when rioters block a road, then surround your vehicle and threaten you, how are you supposed to understand the threat? Is this deadly or not? Right? How are you supposed to assess that? How are you supposed to assess their attitude, right? Like they're saying, this cop, he should have known. He should have known. He should have assumed that everything was good. You can't assume anything, right? When rioters block the road, surround you, threaten you, right? How are you supposed to understand that threat if it's deadly or not until they've pulled you out of your car and started to kill you? Dead, 100%. Then you're like, okay, I'm dead. I guess I should have recognized them as a threat, right? Any act of violence, I can easily argue, can become deadly very quickly, especially when there's an angry mob crowd and they're breaking traffic laws. Like this ridiculous fucking broad is at an immigrations and customs enforcement action site. They're trying to get illegals. And then they show up with their vehicle and start interfering, right? Any act of violence, whether they're in a vehicle or out, can become deadly very quickly, especially if there is a crowd of more, because then you get crowd and mob mentality. The scotch is working, right? If they're all, let's just say you're pulling up to intersection and people are breaking traffic laws by standing in the fucking road. They're screaming, they're waving objects. They've got sticks with signs that can easily become sticks to break your window, dent your car, stab you. Improvised weapons. They can carry bats. They can also carry bars of iron, hammers. They can carry weapons, right? Improvised weapons. It can happen very quickly, right? So when people step in front of a car and block a car, to me, that shows intent to kidnap, rob, rape, beat, or murder because they've taken a position to block you, and it's violent, right? What if they did that to a cop in a cop car? They should step on the gas and get the fuck out of there. Should they roll down the windows and start shooting people? If they're being shot at, I don't know, right? How bad does it have to be before you're allowed to defend yourself, right? You're surrounded. People step in front of your car. They step behind it, right? And then this idea in your head that their intent is to, at the very least, batter and beat the car to death, but probably kidnap, rape, rob, beat, murder you. The intent is then fortified when anyone in this group that has surrounded you puts their hands on your car and starts hitting your car with hands and objects. Those are acts of violence against your property, your personal property. Those acts of violence, pounding on the car, can escalate to breaking windows and stabbing and beating you in a matter of seconds, right? To go from a loud protesting group to a murder scene takes 10 to 20 seconds. When a window is broken and the person is smashed in the skull or stabbed or beaten to death by the mob. There's no time to consider, folks. If the crowd merely wants to destroy property and be assholes, just bitch slap you a little, or murder you because of the color of your skin, or the vehicle you're driving, or the bumper sticker that's been detected by these radical communists, and they decide they don't like soldiers and Marines and veterans and Republicans. Now, what if your house door, what if it's being banged on and there's people claiming to be government officials? But you aren't a criminal. You know you're not a criminal, but the government officials are saying they're there. But, do you open the door for them? How do you know if they aren't fake government officials or fake cops in fake uniforms, just like in Minnesota? That's right, the same Minnesota, where a state senator and her family, her husband, were murdered by a guy dressed as a cop, pretending to be a cop, using cop words, which you can hear on television, or if you're a protester, you're always hearing cops talking, so you know what their language is. Can you trust anyone claiming to be a cop at your door, banging on it, especially when you aren't a criminal? Like if they showed up at my place and started banging, bam, 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 John, come up, get out of there. I'm like, I can't trust you. I don't know who you are. You could be dressed as a cop, but you're a bunch of fucking radical lunatic fucksticks, right? What if, rather than just being loud and banging on the door, men dressed in all black, SWAT-style clothing, and they're screaming and using a battering ram on your door? Are they SWAT or are they Antifa? Because Antifa wears all black. They wear tactical vests. They wear the SWAT helmet. They wear SWAT-style masks, goggles, gloves, elbow pads, knee pads. They look just like fucking law enforcement. So, dressing like civilian or even military authority figures is not hard to do, nor is yelling and making demands hard to duplicate. It's these demands are not hard to duplicate. In other words, talk and sound like your military, police, government, or whatever. And if you're not a criminal, how would you know proper law enforcement orders from pretend or mimicked orders, especially if there's chaos in your neighborhood? What if these threatening people break through your door? Do you, an innocent civilian, not a criminal, have a right to defend yourself and your family against unknown intruders who are pretending to be the authorities? Remember in 2020, Antifa and BLM broke into houses in Seattle, told residents they were to leave and abandon their homes to these communist protesters. Some did. Some were beaten, some were raped, and some were murdered. Though the mainstream media has refused to report the facts from that time, choosing instead to report things were mostly peaceful. Women had their homes kicked in. They were raped. These people dressed and acted and talked like they were authorities. We're in charge now. We're in charge of the government. You have to get out. Right? Now, the upshot to all this is cops can defend themselves, and so can we. Whether it's law enforcement or unlawful protesters, we have the right to self-defense as well. We have the right to assess a risk and determine whether or not we can protect ourselves. We have the right to be secure in our persons and papers from unreasonable search and seizure. The Constitution doesn't address the right to protection from unreasonable search and seizure, even of one's body, to use the Second Amendment right to bear arms as the remedy. But a reasonable brain, an intelligent mind, will conclude that is exactly what is meant. That without papers, an arrest warrant, or evidence for a lawful arrest, one can resist force with force, deadly if needed, to protect one's life and the lives of those around him. So claiming to be from the government and claiming they have the right to be there is no reason or to let them destroy you and kill you, because they could be fake. They could be lying. This happened in Hurricane Katrina, when police went door to door, confiscating people's weapons and saying that was their right, their authority, and people gave them up. Unfucking believable. People were shot and killed by law enforcement. Women were raped by law enforcement during Hurricane Katrina because they had ultimate authority. The people submitted. They weren't prepared like we are today. And they gave up their rights, and they gave up their property, and they gave up their decency. Understand, folks, you have the right to protect yourself. Having said all that, the government agents out there are also facing these liberal fuckheads who think cops should never be violent, but the protesters, are fully allowed to be violent because, they were offended. They were offended. And when they're offended, they can do whatever they want, and cops aren't allowed to do nothing, and no one else is allowed to defend themselves, but they are Democrats and communists, and they know what's right or wrong. Right? For us, folks, we're going into violent, irrational times. Government doesn't seem to know its proper job and how to do it. As we hear from liberal governors and chiefs of police, they won't stand up and defend us. The time is coming where the rule of law is going to have to be replaced with the concept of might makes right, Mad Max style if necessary, because of who these people are. Right? They're fucking it up on purpose, so please be prepared. All right, we're at 2 hours, 20 minutes and going. Dan Erickson says, stand up from your chair and show us what you got. You're talking about weapon. I can't do that. I can't do the weapon because the video will be flagged and taken down. Literally taken down. And I'm not going to do that. I didn't put all this time in and energy with you guys to take it down. That's for the AR-12. Okay. Shit. 30 round magazine AR-15s. Okay. That's what I've got. And I've got a lot of it, just like you guys do. I don't fuck around. Right? I don't fuck around. I know you don't fuck around, Dan. Nobody fucks around. I think that's what you meant by stand up and show us what you got. The other things, I ain't showing that. Blue Core Devil with a $20 super chat says, watching the Portland protest last night, someone said patriots should dress in black bloc. Meaning the same thing Antifa wears, which is paramilitary. And to do that to confuse Antifa, and the cops, because cops are not arresting Antifa in Portland, just patriots, Americans. So dress like them, blend in. Hey, we're not at war, so you're not refusing to wear a uniform. You're not dressing like the enemy because it's not war, it's just protests. So yes, if I lived in Portland, I would dress like Antifa. There would be something on my uniform, on me, that designates me as not them and a patriot. It would probably be something on the back of the helmet or the back, a piece of blue tape or red tape or something to indicate, don't kill this guy. He's one of us. That way we could identify ourselves. That could also include key words, as in passwords, codes. Right? When you greet people, you use a specific word. That way they know who you are and they respond with the counter word. We did that in the military. When you have a skirmish line, fighting holes all set up, and you got patrols going in and out. They come back in, they make a sound, indicate that they know where you're at. They say the word, and then you let them in. Right? You ask for the password. Right? Who is Mickey Mouse? And the response would be, Minnie Mouse's boyfriend, whatever the fuck it is, right? Simple, fast, clean, or using words that help you indicate and hear, does the person know how to say them properly? Right? Let's just say the question is, hey, who's your favorite president? And the answer is not to just say Trump, but I love Trump. Can you imagine a Democrat trying to say I love Trump? They'd choke on their fucking tongue. All right, let's keep going. Mr. Uman, where are we at? Where are we at? Holy cow. 2 hours, 22 minutes, 37 seconds and counting, and we are all wrapped up. Folks, I am mentally exhausted, but I want to tell you I had a hell of a good time on this show. Good times. I want to thank all the super chats for the questions and topics, for allowing me to rant and rave and share information, and it's up to you to share the internet address. Over 300 people, the entire fucking show. You guys are awesome. People need to wake up. They need to take action. They need to get prepared, be trained, be ready, understand the world around them, understand their world and the 10 miles around them that way. So you're not surprised, you're not taken aback, right? To understand the battlefield, to understand the game, if you will, gives you an incredible advantage when it gets nasty. For other people out there, they're like, I didn't know it was that bad. I just thought I was being a violent protester. I didn't know I was going to get shot for this shit. Yeah, you're setting people's houses on fire. You little fuckhead. You're going to get shot for that. They don't think so. Well, we can burn, loot, and murder. I mean, that's just what we do. I mean, what's wrong with it? No. That is wrong. Looting, capital offense. You can be shot on sight before 1970. That can be reinstituted pretty fucking quick. You want to set fire to someone's house? That's attempted murder. You can be shot for doing it because we don't know who is alive in that house or not. You're setting fire to it, you get shot. No trial, no judge, no jury, just executed. If you're murdering people, you're going to be shot on sight for doing it. You're attempting to murder someone, you're shot on sight. See, BLM can be wiped right off the board pretty quick. Folks, chance favors. The prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi, God bless America. Get prepared, and I'll see you guys 0 dark 30 tomorrow.